Hi, I'm Mike O'Driscoll. I'm a writer and writing teacher, and I'm going to be hopefully trying to help you in the next part of this project, where what we're going to do is to produce a poem. Now, the thing about a poem is it's a particularly compressed and strong form of language. We use our words to communicate with each other. And in a poem, if we can say something in a strong and striking and memorable way, it may help people to think about that and remember it and take it forward with them. So we will hopefully produce a piece of work that helps us and others to think about some of the things you've done so far today. First, let's decide what exactly is a poem. I think a poem is an attempt to say as much as you can in as few words as possible. It's about taking your best ideas and imagination and then expressing them in your best words so that you make your language fizz and sparkle with energy. So a poem isn't a story, and it isn't a report like you might write in class. It can be sad, it could be happy, it could be funny, it could be serious, it could be long. Some poems, like this one, Spenser's Fairy Queen, is hundreds of pages. Others, like this, one of my favourites by the poet Raymond Carver, is just a few short words. So it's not about how long it is, it's about how it makes you feel and how it makes you think. What you will notice is that a poem is set down in lines rather than sentences, and the lines guide you in how to read the poem and in the poet's meaning. Poems do not have to rhyme. Let me say that again. Poems do not have to rhyme. Some poems rhyme, some poems don't rhyme. It isn't a better poem because it rhymes, but you might find it much harder to write a good poem. If we think about a word like telly or welly, we go belly, smelly. There isn't a lot we can say. We might make something very funny, but we'll struggle to make something meaningful. You will probably find it much easier, much more effective to use words that don't rhyme. So how do we start? Maybe with a blank piece of paper and an image. I like to use plain paper and lined paper. I scribble down words and ideas on the blank paper, and then when I'm ready and I feel I've got a poem, I start to scribe it out on the lined paper. This is what I came up with in a few minutes. Planet, blue, ball, marble, sphere, globe, white, mist, sea, salty, cloud, stream, water. And then thinking about what might be on that planet, I thought tree, flower, fruit, crops, insects, birds, fish, whale, dolphin, bee, ant. And that was enough to get me started. I thought if I put those together, I came up with a few lines. Our planet is a blue marble floating in an endless sea of space, a haven and a refuge for life. And so from that, I was able to write a complete poem. Our planet is a blue marble floating in an endless seas of space, a haven and a refuge for all living things, from tiny ant to mighty elephant, from glittering goldfish to the great blue whale. And all the things that grow, the green grass and fragrant flowers, the tall and branching trees, the crops that feed us, the nettle that stings, the bee that collects the pollen. We are all connected in a vast invisible web of life. Together we can thrive and grow. This is a precious gift which we must respect and cherish and pass on to the future that comes after we are gone. If you're really struggling and can't come up with anything, sometimes there's a small structure can help you to do so. One thing we have is a Japanese form called a haiku. It's just 3 lines. The first line is 5 syllables, the second line is 7 syllables, the third line is 5 syllables. This is, the earth gives us life, we should always be grateful and treat her with love. Another thing you can do if you're struggling is what we call an acrostic. That's where we write a word down and then we write other words across from it. If I show you here, you can see planet Earth, everyone actively reaching towards hope. And then planet, place where living creatures and many kinds of nature's treasures exist together. Of course, you could do more than one acrostic or haiku, and that may get you into the frame of mind to produce a poem of your own. So this is what we call first draft writing, where you don't have much time and we don't worry too much about spelling or grammar or capital letters. We can fix all of that later. What we want is our best ideas and our best words down on the piece of paper, and we can work with them later. I hope I've given you some techniques and ways into writing a poem, and I hope you're going to come up with some really good work, because now it's over to all of you. There is a second piece of writing we'd like you to do, and it may tie in with the artwork that you're going to do later. You've done lots of thinking about the planet and how connected things are and how important it is for us to look after things. What we want you to do now is to boil that all down into a pledge, your personal commitment in what you would like to do to protect our planet. If I give you an example of one I did earlier, this says, I pledge to tread lightly on the earth and to respect all living things. Now that's one way of doing it, or you might want to come up with a sort of punchy original phrase that you think will really get through to people, like, love your planet, leave less litter. It's entirely up to you how you want to go with this, but now's your chance to make your pledge to our planet.